We begin this hour 18 with a lot of questions about the violent death of a 5-year-old girl. Police tell us her own mother stabbed her, and her 8-year-old sister watched, even tried to stop the attack.
Questions: why would a mother do this? She's not talking, police say. And could the little girl's death have been prevented? We have team coverage. Let's begin with CBS News' Megan Hickey. Megan, you've learned DCFS has had contact with the family before.
Right, Brad and Erica, DCFS confirmed they had prior contact with this family, but would not give us any specifics beyond that. We also know that the mother, Simone Austin, had prior contact with police as a victim of domestic violence.
And do we have a condition on that baby? Critical.
Police say they found 5-year-old Serenity Arrington lying here along the sidewalk in front of her East Garfield Park home, bleeding from the neck.
The offender is still going to be on site. Child is kicked in the neck. Fire's rolling.
Today, prosecutors said the girl's 27-year-old mother, Simone Austin, was inside the home Saturday morning with Serenity and her 8-year-old sister. She told the sister to leave the room, pulled out a knife from underneath a pillow, and stabbed Serenity repeatedly in the neck as her sister watched from the keyhole in the door. Prosecutors said she then laid Serenity out in front of the house, and when police and fire personnel arrived, she told them she did it and that she was sorry. The 8-year-old was screaming that her mommy killed her little sister, too.
Keep that child in your thoughts and prayers because obviously this is extremely difficult for the rest of her life.
The 8-year-old also told detectives about a previous incident where her mom was walking around with a knife because the little girls had spilled some eggs on the porch. Austin is now charged with first-degree murder. She has no criminal background. We wanted to know, were there red flags? Could this family have gotten help?
We've had previous calls there for domestic violence where the mother was the victim of domestic violence and other people in the family have called.
Today, Superintendent Brown said CPD would send us more information about the domestic violence-related calls. But so far, we haven't received the information we requested. Now, Austin invoked her right to remain silent once police arrived on the scene, so we still don't have any information on motive tonight. That next hearing for her.
Hello, this is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And yeah, this is very, very sad and very, very crazy, and it touches my soul because I have a 5-year-old daughter. I could picture my kid playing with this child right here in the bottom right-hand corner. Little Serenity Arrington, who, and I always say this. I always say it's never the child's fault that your life is messed up. It's never the kid's fault. You were the one that brought them into this situation having a good time. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm not going to do in this, in my take on what happened here. I'm not going to play the mentally ill card. I believe that mental illness needs a very close visit in the Black community and across the, Black diaspora as far as people in disadvantaged situations, because that can trigger mental illness. But about that, you need treatment before something happens. Once you cross over into something like this, there's no more we can do for you. Nothing. Lock them up, throw away the key. If death penalty is legal, kill them too. That's a child. Sorry if you feel some kind of way for me saying that. But what was Simone Austin's problem? Okay. Now, the way the news reported it, I didn't like that either. Because what they kept trying to do was put the emphasis on the part that she was a victim of domestic violence. As if the domestic violence triggered her to become so stressful that she had to stab her child in the neck several times in front of the other child. The 8-year-old girl is traumatized forever, and I wonder if anyone out there watching actually cares about that. I'm quite sure, with my audience, that we do. But if you're going to play the mentally ill card, I'm going to do the opposite of what I say at the beginning of every video. I'm going to say go below that screen, hit the subscribe button so you can unsub. I'm not playing mentally ill on this one. There's no excuses for this once it happens. It's her fault, the one in the mugshot with no edges, and it's her family's fault. Because they've had to seen something. They had to have seen something. And the news reporters, we requested more information on those domestic violence calls, but they haven't gotten back with us yet. You know what, though? You know what I'm going to say? The police are probably glad she was getting her ass whooped. Like, especially, now, probably not before, because we live in a society of believe all women. That happened in another case. Girl accused her boyfriend of domestic violence. Well, her baby's father of domestic violence on her and her child. Months later, she ends up killing her child. Blunt force trauma to the head. Can you imagine the evil that it takes to repeatedly stab a child in the neck? 5 years old? I'm a very compassionate human being when it comes to children. Because children are the most defenseless little people on the planet. They can't protect themselves against bigger people. They can't. Not unless they're like, I don't know, they're have some special ability. That's a child. All she cared about was smiling and playing, and obvious in an air of fear along with her sister, because the little sister, as the news report states, explained to police that her mother was walking around with a knife before, waving it in front of the two little girls. This makes me so angry because I felt like those Caucasian news reporters tried to be as soft on this woman as possible. That's why you need people like me telling you these stories. She told her to leave the room, and then she proceeded to stab her daughter in the neck several times while the little girl looked through the keyhole. And there's a report that the little 8-year-old girl even tried to stop her mother from doing it. So what happened in what order? Did she try to stop her mother? And then the mother yelled, get the you-know-what out of here, slam the door, and then start stabbing the little sister? I don't care how loud and, how much my child's behavior may be getting on my nerves. No, nothing like that would ever enter my head. But y'all can make all the excuses for Simone Austin all y'all want, because that's what's going to happen. How many of us in the black community are we really going to visit this and visit things like this and take a serious look at it? Or are we going to dismiss it as mental illness or trying to play damage control just because of her gender? We get caught up in the most unimportant stuff when we think of stuff like this. And, I got caught up in a little bit too, because it makes me angry that things like this happen. And it really gets on my nerves as some of our reactions to stuff like this. But what I'm saying is the important thing is that a family just lost a 5-year-old girl. And then they lost another family member to the system. Well, good riddance to that evil ass person. Seriously, that's evil. We are going to have to accept that some people are just evil. That some women are just evil. That some black women are just evil. That some single mothers are just evil. I'm willing to bet those domestic abuse calls were probably lies at this point. You never know. They didn't even mention the child's father. I mean, who knows? He might be in prison. I mean, he's out if he got a domestic abuse call. But that's a little thing people like that who are mentally unglued do. They lie and then they kill their children. And it's a sad, tragic thing. And I think that as a society that we need to take a better look at how we do things. My condolences to the family of Serenity Arrington. This was senseless and unnecessary. And to answer the news report, yes, there is something that can be done. I mean, we can't do anything about the lives already here, but some people just don't need to have children. And hopefully they realize that before stuff like this happens. But unfortunately, in little Serenity's case, it wasn't like that. Rest in heaven, little angel. You deserve way better than to have a monster for a mother. Simone Austin, Rodnell. My condolences to the family of Serenity Arrington. May you find peace in having through this tragedy. All right. And Kev, we trust. Goodbye.